Hi everyone and welcome to today's video. This is a B1 level business English lesson, and today we're going to be talking about making small talk with your colleagues in the office. So what is small talk, and how often do you have small talk with your colleagues? Well, small talk makes up about 1/3 or 33% of adult speech. And does this surprise you? And what are common small talk topics in your country? And what is water cooler chat? Well, it's another word for small talk. Not all offices have the water cooler anymore, but in times past, that was usually a gathering place where people would go on their breaks and talk to each other. So we tend to call it water cooler talk, even though it may happen, in a break area, in a cafeteria. And do you think that water cooler chat or small talk is important? Why or why not? Okay, so we're going to read the beginning of this article about the importance of casual conversations with colleagues, and then you can answer the questions. So you can pause the video, read this on your own, or you can follow along as I read. Liam and Mary, two employees of the same company, are talking in the office on Monday morning. How was your weekend? Did you see the Lakers game? No, I missed it. I was visiting my family out of town. Can you believe that my car broke down while I was driving home? I didn't get home until after midnight. It was a long weekend. Oh no, that's terrible. And it seems like today is going to be a long day. Did you see the email that Christina just sent? Now, this might not seem like an important conversation, but a quick chat with a colleague while waiting for a morning coffee can be valuable. When colleagues take a break to chat with one another, they develop friendship and trust, which is important for working together successfully. So, what are Liam and Mary talking about? Well, they're kind of talking about what happened over the weekend and what is the benefit of chatting with colleagues, that it can develop friendship and trust to help you work more successfully together. Water cooler chat is the term to describe these casual conversations between colleagues about topics other than work. The name comes from the past when employees each had their own cubicles, and the water cooler was one of the only places in the office where employees could chat with one another. Research has shown that these conversations create a more positive work atmosphere. And cubicle is a small office space with a desk for a person to work. So, where did the term water cooler chat come from? Well, from, like we said, in the past, when the water cooler was one of the only places in the office where employees could talk with one another. And what does research tell us about these conversations? That they create a more positive work atmosphere. So we're going to look at this text between Liam and Mary again and look for which sentences use the past simple and which sentences use the past continuous. So past simple, how was, and did you see? Missed is past simple. Uh, broke, past simple. Didn't get, was again. And did you see? And now the will change color for the past continuous. Was visiting, was driving. And I think that's it. So how was the past continuous used with the past simple? So look at the past continuous tense in bold. We use the past continuous tense to talk about something that was happening during a period of time in the past. So here she was talking about driving home, which was a continuous activity, and then the event, the car broke down during that drive home, but all of those things happened in the past. So the action may be interrupted by another action expressed with the past simple. So I was listening to a presentation when my cell phone rang. So the listening to the presentation is the continuous past event, and the cell phone ringing is interrupts that listening action. Or when my boss came into my office, I was replying to a personal email. So replying to the email is interrupted by the boss coming in. The past continuous can also be used for two actions happening at the same time over a longer period of time. And here are some examples. While Diane was preparing her presentation, Ren was giving the client an office tour. So both of these actions are ongoing actions that are happening during the past. Or while Claire was researching the solution, Mario was explaining the issue to the customer. Now you can practice completing each sentence with the past continuous. You can pause the video, try this on your own, and then restart when you're ready to check your answers. So Gideon wasn't listening during the team meeting this morning. The printer wasn't working all day yesterday, so I couldn't sign the document. Daniela and Will were traveling last week, so they missed the meeting. And I was getting a coffee when the CEO stopped by my office. And then you can practice completing these sentences using the past continuous. When I was speaking to my boss, when I heard the news, when the client arrived for the meeting. Think of some other ways to continue those sentences. All right, so in this one, you're going to complete each sentence with the verb in either the past continuous or the past simple tense. We have one vocabulary word. Client is a noun meaning a person or company who buys your products or services. You can go ahead and pause the video, try this on your own, and then restart when you're ready to check your answers. Yesterday was very busy. At 9 a.m., our most important client arrived at our office. I met her at the front desk and gave her a tour of our office while we were walking around. I stopped to introduce her to some of my colleagues. Then we went to the meeting room to begin a full day of meetings. First, my boss provided her with updates about our company, and then I began my presentation. I was presenting. Oops. I was presenting our new product to her when lunch arrived. I quickly finished my presentation and we took a break to eat. After lunch, we continued to discuss the ways that we can work together in the future. By 5 p.m., we were all tired and decided to stop working for the day. Now, the past continuous tense can also be used to talk about an action taking place at a specific time in the past. This usually means that the speaker was in the middle of that action at that time. So some examples. At 10:30 a.m., Carla was giving a presentation. Or, sorry I missed your call, I was riding the subway at 8 a.m. Now answer the questions below. What were you doing at 8 a.m. yesterday? What were you doing at 10 p.m. last night? And what were you doing just before this class started? All right, now we're going to listen to a conversation between colleagues waiting for a coffee. So listen for what they are talking about and try to pay attention to when they use the past continuous.
Hey, Jaden, how's it going?
Maria, hey, not bad. I'm glad we're finally seeing some sunshine.
Yeah, it was raining all weekend. It was a good excuse to stay home and relax. I was a bit stressed last week.
Yeah, I noticed that you looked stressed last week. I'm sorry. I was thinking, would you want to have lunch with me today? I want to talk about the Kleinfield project. I might be able to help you.
Really?
Yeah, let's sit down and chat more. Does 12 p.m. work for you?
That would be great.
Jaden and Maria discuss at the start of the meeting when they start talking about the weather over the weekend. So that's kind of common small talk, weather, sports, things that you either did over the weekend or plans for the coming weekend, things like that. Why does Jaden suggest having lunch with Maria? Well, he wants to talk about the project that she is working on because he thinks maybe he could help her. And when are they planning to meet again? So at 12 p.m. later that day. And here's another conversation. You're going to be listening for the past continuous, and then we'll answer these questions.
Good morning, Oliver.
Morning, Jen. How are you doing with the B&L project?
You won't believe this. Yesterday, I was working on the project when Frank called. He asked me to move the presentation to this Friday.
What did you say? That does not give you a lot of time to prepare.
I know. I wasn't expecting to finish until the end of next week. I said yes, but I'm worried that I'm not going to finish on time.
What are you going to do?
Well, I was wondering if you could help me tomorrow afternoon.
Sure, I have some time around 4 p.m. Does that work?
Okay, so what did Jen's boss, Frank, ask her to do? He asked her to move the presentation up to this Friday. What does Jen ask Oliver to do? She asks if he can help her with the presentation. And when are they planning to meet again? At 4 p.m. the following afternoon. All right, now this time, pause the video, fill in your answers, and then you can listen to check the answers. And then we'll also answer the questions.
Hey, Sandra. How are things?
Hey, Peter. Everything is good. I was just giving a presentation in the conference room.
Oh, I think I heard you. How'd it go?
I think it went well, but I won't really know until the client signs the contract.
Yeah, that's the best way to know.
Any plans for this weekend?
Yeah, I'm gonna get together with some friends from out of town. How about you?
Nothing really. We were traveling last weekend, so this weekend we're planning to stay home.
Well, enjoy. I'll see you next week.
You too.
Okay, so what day of the week do you think that Sandra and Peter are chatting? Well, it's probably on a Friday because they're talking about the weekend. And what do Sandra and Peter discuss? They talk about, first, they talk about the presentation that she gave, and then they kind of talk about their weekend plans. So you have a lot of questions, but your colleagues seem so busy. How can you get their attention? So we want to match the beginning of the expressions to the end of these expressions. So go ahead and try that on your own and then restart when you're ready to check your answers. So do you have a minute? Are you busy? Is this a good time? Sorry to bother you. Could I interrupt you for a second? And excuse me, I have a quick question. So here are your colleagues' responses when you ask them for help. So how can you reply? Sorry, but I'm busy at the moment. Well, you might say something like, oh, well, when would be a good time? Or maybe, do you have time this afternoon? Something like that. Unfortunately, now is not the best time. So again, you could say, well, when would be a good time? Or could you call me or send me a text message when you're free? Yes, what can I do for you? Then you would just go ahead and tell the person what it is you need. And then would you mind coming back in 10 minutes? You could say, sure, no problem, and then set a timer to return in 10 minutes. All right, so there's several ways to start a conversation. Now see if you can match the beginning of each expression to the ending. You can go ahead and pause the video, try these on your own, and then restart when you're ready to check your answers. And we have different topics, so you probably first you want to start with a general greeting. So, how are you? How have you been? How's it going? How are things? What's new? And then people will often talk about their current work projects. So, what are you working on at the moment? How is your new project going? What is your department up to? Work events are another common topic. So, how did your presentation go last week? Or how was your business trip? Weekend plans. How was your weekend? And do you have any plans for the weekend? And then current events. Did you see the game last night? Usually some kind of sports game, football, basketball, baseball. And have you heard the recent news? So now, I want you to write a dialogue between you and your boss in the copy room. So here's the situation. You are in the copy room waiting to print some documents when your boss comes in. It's Monday morning. You need to talk to him for several minutes before your documents get printed. The boss starts with, hey, and then your name. How's it going? So go ahead and write a dialogue. You can use some of these ideas and just write how you think the conversation might go with your boss. Here's another one. Invite your coworker to join you for a coffee break. You're planning to leave the office to get a cup of coffee. You see a colleague on the way out and you want to ask him to join you, and he says yes. So then go ahead and write another dialogue, putting together some small talk that you can discuss with your colleague as you are going to get coffee together. Here's another situation. You're in the kitchen with a colleague to get your lunch. It's Friday at 1 p.m. and ask him about his weekend plans. And finally, you want to politely ask your coworker for some feedback. Your colleague has just finished a task and looks like he's taking a short break. Ask if he has a few minutes to give you some feedback on the design of advertisement that you've made. So again, you can write that dialogue between you and your colleague. That brings us to the end of today's video. Please like, subscribe, share, leave a comment, and I will see you next time. Thanks for watching. Bye.